We just picked a mystery mold! In today's video, I travel all the way to Oklahoma to pick and pour a mystery mold with the copper kiln. I tour a pottery factory that's been operating for nearly 100 years and explore what Oklahoma City has to offer. Let's get into it. So it's 7 a.m. and we've just gotten up. We're just waiting for Wendy to come, who runs a paint your own pottery studio in Tulsa, which is about an hour to 2 hours away from here, from what I believe. So Wendy reached out to me on social media, and I don't usually do this. I vetted everything from everyone here, but the copper kiln is, yeah, a paint your own pottery studio, much like the one I run in Ballarat, the Pottage. We've got a full itinerary to go see Tulsa and also their slip casting and all of that kind of stuff. But I think I'm just gonna talk over the actual video as it's happening because I'm still learning and we might not get a chance to do everything. I think I might just let it be a surprise for you what we're doing. So Wendy from the Copper Kiln picked us up and we're heading out to Tulsa, where we're going to visit Georgia and Sherry, a mother and daughter duo that have been creating ceramic pieces from their studio for Paint Your Own Pottery Studios for over 40 years. The Copper Kiln gets some of their supplies from here and has been slowly buying out the molds for their own collection as Sherry and Georgia are getting older and unable to make the same capacity that they once did. It's actually always so exciting and fascinating visiting someone else's studio and also seeing all the vintage mystery molds that are different or similar to the ones that I have. And then after visiting where the pieces started, we headed to the Copper Kiln space where they had sheds full of mystery molds. I was actually in heaven. These are all the ones they've started collect and cleaning from Georgia and Sherry's.
I mean, they're gross, but look, they're
How
so
pretty are they? It was then time to go through them and pick something for a mystery mold. First, I went through one of the sheds that I wasn't going to choose from to see what everything looked like. Often collections are geared towards someone's taste, so it was interesting to see what we had access to choose from. To be honest, they were much similar to my pieces with some slight variations. I think I definitely have more cottagecore and farm style pieces. I ended up picking something small because I wanted it to be easy to ship back to me, as I'm not going to get a chance to fire it before I leave for Australia, as I've come at the end of my trip. We just picked a mystery mold! We actually poured another mystery mold that they had picked out for me in advance, and inside of it was this adorable squirrel. They picked it because I kept talking about how cute squirrels are here in the US and we don't have them in Australia. I then poured my little mystery mold that I picked from the shed and I had to let it dry, so we went and headed to their Paint Your Own Pottery studio. Their collection is a variety of items that Sherry and Georgia had poured, as well as a selection of pieces from Bisqueware factories. I ended up picking one item from each so I could see the difference when they were finished. The Copper Kiln also offers a variety of different applications for their pottery, which I can only imagine is a lot to manage, making sure the colors don't interact as they don't mix. I did my first piece using the Mako stroke and coats, which I don't personally use, and I did a simple flower design. We actually didn't have much time to create, so I went with something fast and easy in the design principles just to sort of get a feel for how the textures of this glaze work on the pottery pieces. Mako's glazes are actually a lot thicker and feel a bit more like a gel when you apply them compared to the underglazes that I use. It's because these are more similar to a glaze, hence why they're called a stroke and coat. They're meant to be just like a one stroke and they coat. It's all in the name, hey? I then used the Mako elements, which are more like glazes on my cowboy boot. They kind of melt and blend a little bit more than the stroke and coat, whereas the stroke and coat kind of holds its figure and placing on the piece. I did really want to do a bit more of an intricate design, but I thought this would be the best way to show the shape and the color and texture of the boot with the minimal time that we had. We dropped them off to be fired and they'll be sent to us alongside the mystery molds I opened. They will bisque them up and send them over to Australia for me. It was then time to open up the little one I picked and poured, and it was this adorable little cottage house. Guys, this was so funny because I had a bit of an audience whilst I was opening this mold because the staff were all watching me. I was a little embarrassed because I felt like I was public speaking, but it was so cute. I can't wait to paint it up when it gets sent to me. It's just so adorable. I love the size of it. So if you haven't seen it already, there is a part 1 of this video which is a bit more vloggy, but I noticed you guys didn't really like it as much, so I've stripped it right back to just be mostly the pottery parts and the stuff that you guys find interesting. Mention in this video that I'm currently in Oklahoma. I've been flown over with the Fred Jones Jr. Museum of Art to explore their current exhibition, as well as visiting the Frankoma Pottery factory, which is where we are at today. Part of this collaboration is mostly going to see the Frankoma exhibition they currently have on, as well as exploring the local Oklahoma pottery and art scene, which is why I've been visiting all these locations whilst I'm here. Frankoma started in 1933 and was family owned and ran using only local dug clays in Oklahoma and glaze recipes that combined with the clay body to give the pieces their signature style. I talk more about this in part 1. Unfortunately, these recipes contained high amounts of lead, which means they are unsafe for food, and all the vintage pieces are no longer able to be used and should only be used as display pieces. Frankoma was made to change all their glaze recipes, and as time went on, they had to outsource their clay to a larger supplier outside of Oklahoma, thus sort of ruining where Frankoma had began and what made their pieces the signature. The company was then sold a number of times after all living members of the family had passed away until the current owner acquired it. It is a really tricky thing to navigate talking about this because it is an age-old tale of will something survive the next generation? Does the new owner live and breathe the same passion into the business as the original family did? To answer lightly, I really don't think they do. And I do think that the workers have a huge passion for Frankoma. They care about the products they are making. They have the attention to detail, but I do feel as if the owner treats the company like it's a trophy investment instead of a passion project. As we toured the factory, I noted so many OH&S issues with the factory, particularly in ceramics. We have to be so careful of potter's lungs. From incorrect tools for dust and silicosis management to spray booth of glazes where there was no PPE provided for the staff. They even used a grinder to remove glaze from pieces instead of using a wet sponge. A grinder just creates so much silica dust. They even had a bench set up that was for woodworking shavings instead of a bench that could be easily wiped down and kept wet to prevent silica from entering the atmosphere. The owner even explained that it was a woodworking bench and that he found a cool hack, and it was really hard to explain to him that it wasn't a cool hack and it was very unsafe for the air. The team are still casting the vintage Frankoma pieces, but they have begun collecting other brands' molds and pouring them as well, but putting the Frankoma name on them despite the pieces not having anything to do with Frankoma's process or style. I really was just in shock. I felt that the image and name of Frankoma really has become lost since the family died, and the current owner is trying to do anything to sell and make anything they can to continue on the success. It was really hard to experience because by doing that, it made the Frankoma pieces seem less significant than what they were. I am very worried for the future of Frankoma, but I do wonder whether letting these pieces be vintage artifacts and maintaining the legacy the name had is better than trying to tarnish the legacy through efforts of trying to stay afloat. It was definitely an interesting experience, and those are just my honest reflections, and it's a very tricky one. It's got lots of levels and elements to it that I've been reflecting on since my visit, and I have plenty of time to reflect on that because the car we were taking actually broke down on Route 66, which gave us a chance to try Oklahoma Classic Brahms, which was really cool. It was actually really nice. On a lighter note of this video, we then went and stopped by Pops, which is like what you guys call soda soft drinks is what we call them, and we arrived and got a little photo in front of the giant soda pop bottle, but unfortunately we got there 2 minutes too late and the shop had actually shut, so I didn't get to try one of the pops. We then went by a taco truck and I tried horchata for the first time, and gosh, this was my favorite drink and I'm so obsessed with it. I'm definitely going to get a recipe to make it at home. We are midway through the week, or like over midway, which is the day of the meetup, and I'm a bit nervous.
I'm excited.
I think it'll be good. I brought some treats from Australia, so some like little chocolates and some little cards to write notes on and some stickers as well.
Yeah, we don't really know what to expect.
And then we're actually going to go into the college shop and buy an Oklahoma jumper.
Which I'm so excited about that.
Because we don't have, like we have those at university, but
yeah,
different.
It's very different.
They're just different. So yeah, that'll be fun. Come with us. In Australia, we obviously have universities, but there isn't like the loyalty and the merchandising like you guys have in the US. Like, it was wild to experience an American college because you guys really do fly flags everywhere. Even the Walmarts and Targets had merchandise of the university for sale. We really wanted to bring home something with us to remember the trip, and this merch literally has something for everyone. It's so different and unique and literally appeals to different tastes. I couldn't get over the glitzy diamantes I have seen everywhere here. Like, that is so bizarre. I think the fascinating thing for me is also the fact that there are so many big brand collaborations like Nike and Champion. How? Like, our merch is all printed from the one brand. Like, every university goes to the same brand, and it's not very good quality. So seeing collaborations like this is just mind-boggling. Like, I was just blown away and in shock. We both actually decided on the basic Oklahoma crew, mostly because everything else had Boomer on it, and from what we have come to understand, we are not really sure if that saying is a good one or not. It does sound like it's affiliated with a lot of land theft as an outsider who is looking in on the culture. It was then time to head to the meet and greet, which was being hosted at the Cup of Jones inside the Fred Jones Jr. Museum of Art. To be honest, I didn't get much of a chance to promote this catch up because it was organized so close to the trip, but I was nervous all the same.
I'm actually so nervous for the meet and greet because I have no idea who's going to come. I don't know what to expect.
That's good. That's good. That means we've got enough treats. Oh, there you go.
Yes, all the way from Australia, who does not need an introduction.
I honestly had no reason to be nervous, but I was so overcome with emotion. I began tearing up because it's just so wild that I can fly to a totally random state of America and have people that have traveled to come and meet me and say hello and share their personal stories of how my content has impacted their lives. I even had one of you guys bring a piece you had ordered in the restock I had prior to coming to Oklahoma. I was gifted so many cute things, from artworks you guys have created to stickers to even Bucky's treats, which were so good, by the way. I already looked up how I can buy them in Australia and I have no idea. I have no idea where to get them, and I'm addicted to them. So if you live in Texas and go to a Bucky's and you can afford to send me some to my PO box, I will thank you forever because they were so good. I also brought over a vase from my Paint Your Own Pottery studio and brought some glazes to let everyone make their mark on a vase that I get to keep. I know I thanked you all in person already, but just another thank you to all of those that came, that showed up, that drove hours to come meet me, to say hello, share their stories, as well as all the presents. I can't believe you guys brought me things. It was so cute, and I'm so grateful. After the meetup, we headed off to Rudy's Texan Grill, I think it's called. It was just a classic meat place. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's where you go up and you order by the pound, and they've done all the like brisket and stuff, and then they've got all the barbecue salads, and it's just like the real classic barbecues, like southern barbecue. And we were just like itching to try this. Like, we just wanted to try it. I don't know why. I think it's just because you guys are known for this, and we were like, we want to try Texan barbecue.
We're off to check out Main Street in Norman and a few other little places on our last day in Oklahoma.
We've been right around the corner from here the whole time and we didn't know.
So our last day is just exploring a little bit more of Norman, and we happened to stumble across a little local farmers market, which was so cool. I actually ended up bringing back some ghost peppers and spices because I love spice. We also stumbled on this exhibition by Chris McDaniel that was happening on at the time in Norman, and it was so impressive and so beautiful. I can't even imagine how long these paintings would have taken them. We also visited some of the local shops, from record stores to clothing stores. We went into human interaction, which was really cool. It had this like flower bar where you could build your own bouquet, but I was absolutely obsessed with some of the clothes in here. It had really good vintage shopping, but I was obsessed with this vest that was all stitched together. I love a good like quilted garment. It's my favorite. And Jeremy actually bought this lidded ice cream jar, like a cookie jar, and I totally want to make something similar to this when I get back. We also went into the antique store and I found some Frankoma in the wild. I always love exploring antique stores before we headed off to get a little bit of ramen to fuel ourselves. We of course went to the iconic We of course went to the iconic OKC sign that's in Oklahoma City before heading to Paseo Pottery, which is such a shame. It was also shut because the owner was at a family function. I don't know what it is with me in this trip and things being shut when I go to visit them. It was a Saturday as well, so I don't know. Anyway, we went back to DNA Galleries and I bought a plate I liked and ran into one of you guys. Thanks for saying hello to me, Mars. And then it was time to say goodbye on our week-long trip of Oklahoma with the museum.
I will see you on the internet. Oh, no. Shelby, don't cry.
What time is it?
1 in the morning.
We're eating pie because we just finished packing.
Sweet pie.
Sweet pie, not savoury pie. No mincemeat in this pie. It's very yum. We say goodbye to Jeremy. It was very sad.
Honestly, this trip has been such a blast. I am still pinching myself that I got to do this and that the Fred Jones Jr. Museum of Art saw potential in me to share this experience with me, and that this making of pottery and just starting one day has led to me traveling across the world to showcase and share the pottery creations of Oklahoma. Like, that is just so bizarre, and I wouldn't be here without your love and your support for what I do. I'm going to hold this experience so closely to my heart, and I can't wait for the next adventure. I'm heading home for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be back heading off to the NCECA conference, which is a massive pottery conference in the US. I didn't plan it this way, it just happened to work out this way, but I'm so excited to head back and experience Salt Lake City and LA. As always, thank you so much for watching another one of my videos.